behind closed doors. I'm a fool for your love.
Hello everyone, my name is Anthony and welcome back to the Anthony James Show here on Sports Fan Entertainment. Like always, I'm here with my NFL Power Rankings, and it changed a little bit, but there's a decent amount of teams that stayed the same. Overall though, I think it's time to get into it. Let's start with the first team, the Dallas Cowboys, moving up one spot to number one overall. Best record right now in the NFL, so that was pretty easy. I'll tell you this though, Cowboys fans, you can see it. I'm a Vikings fan. Enjoy it while you can. There wasn't too long ago when everybody had the Vikings as number one. I don't know. You guys are a good team. 8-1's a very good record. It's going to be hard for you not to make the playoffs at this point. We'll see how you do as this season continues, though. Next, the Patriots. They moved down one slot. Oh, big deal. You lost to the Seahawks, one of the best teams right now in the NFC. I mean, you weren't going 15-1. I hope you weren't expecting that. You lost, big deal. Your first loss with Tom Brady. It was bound to happen. At least you lost to a good team. That's always the positive. Just don't lose again this week. Next, the Oakland Raiders. They stay at 3. The Seahawks stay at 4. The Chiefs stay at 5, and the Broncos stay at 6. Now you can make arguments that the Chiefs should move up, especially now that they do have possession of first place in the division. However, do keep in mind that this season's long. They've only played against the Raiders once, and granted, they won. I try not to move teams on bye weeks. I did one team this week, but I didn't want to do it with the Chiefs. Seahawks, they had an impressive win. Raiders are looking good. Broncos, a lot closer than it should have been against the Saints, but regardless, they won. That's why the number 3, 4, 5, and 6 teams all stayed the same. They're all doing really good. They're definitely all Super Bowl contenders at this point. Next up, a team that did move. The Giants, they moved up to number 7, 2 spots up. They played, I don't want to say really well, but at the end of the day, they beat a team that's a consistent playoff team, although it looks like they might not make the playoffs this year the way they're playing. Regardless, though, a good win. 6-3, the Giants are doing well. Next up, the Falcons moved down one slot. You lost, but I'm not going to knock you too much. You're still a good team, but you did lose, so you had to move down. Next up, the Redskins. They're in the top 10 now. That means 3 teams from the NFC East are in the top 10, and 3 teams from the AFC West are in the top 10. We have 2 really good divisions right now in football, and the Redskins beat the Vikings. Granted, the Vikings haven't been doing well, but a win's a win. Congratulations. You deserve the 5 spots to move up into the top 10. And finally, to finish out the top 10, the Detroit Lions, I move them up one spot. Now, I try not to move teams that aren't on a bye, but my only other option was the Cardinals, and I wasn't going to move them up. They barely beat the 49ers, and the Lions have been doing overall better. So congratulations, Lions. You are the exception to the rule. I moved up a team that was on bye. Next up, the Arizona Cardinals. You won. At the end of the day, I'm going to have a very, very difficult time moving a team down when they lose. You won, so you move up a spot. Next, the Eagles. You also won. You beat a pretty good team in the Atlanta Falcons. You move up 4 spots. All 4 teams in the NFC East are in the top 12 of the league. That tells you how good this division is. I said it weeks ago that this division is the best in football, and I still believe it. From top to bottom, this is a fantastic division. AFC West is missing the Chargers, but really good divisions there. Next up, the Vikings. They're number 13. Frankly, they probably should be out of the bottom half. They shouldn't be in the top half of the league. They should be in the bottom half. But I already moved them 5 spots, and as you know, I try not to move teams more than 5 spots. If they lose this week to the Cardinals, which is a very good possibility, expect them to move down even more. Oh boy. If I had to choose a team that I feel bad about where I put them, it'd probably be the Texans. I have them at 14, and they're doing a pretty good job. However, I have not been a big Brock Osweiler fan. Even if this team does make the playoffs, which it looks like it should because of the division they're in, I don't expect them to do well. If they win a playoff game, I say that's a successful season for the Texans. Next up, the Steelers moved down 5 spots to 15. They also haven't been doing well like the Vikings. They're 4-5. They have a losing record. And Roethlisberger's played most of the season. This team, considering people came in saying this team's the best in the AFC or the second best, they sure aren't looking like it. Next up, the Ravens, which they're getting very close, I think, even though they have beat the Steelers and are in first. As you know, I try not to move teams more than 5 spots. That's why the Ravens are underneath. Ravens, I'm still not a big Ravens fan, and I think even if they do make the playoffs, they probably will win a game because when they do go to the playoffs, they win a game, but I'm not expecting much from this team. Talking about a team I'm not expecting much from, the Green Bay Packers out of the top half now, move 4 slots down to 17. What a poor season the Packers have been having. Believe it or not, though, the Packers aren't out of the division. Right now, the Vikings and Lions are tied for first, and they're only 1 game behind them, and they do have a tiebreaker over the Lions, but not the Vikings, at least currently. Wow. NFC North has been bad this year. Next up, the Dolphins move them up 3 spots to 18. Congratulations. Nobody expected the Dolphins to do well. It seems like every year I'm high on the Dolphins. Last year I was high on them. Seems like every year it seems like to me I'm high on them. Finally, I decided to say no, no, no. I'm tired of the Dolphins. I think this is in large part because of Jay Ajayi, but the reason doesn't matter. They are doing well and they have 5 wins right now, doing a lot better than anybody expected the Dolphins to this year, especially with the way they started. Next up, the Colts stay at 19. They had a bye week, so I had to keep them there. 20, we have the Bengals move down 5 spots. Now, granted, the Bengals did lose to a good team in the Giants, but a loss is a loss, and frankly, you have 3 wins this season. I've been giving them a break for a while. It's time they start moving down. I need to see more wins. If you're a Bengals fan, though, if they don't make the playoffs this year, which is looking to be a possibility, believe it or not, maybe you'll get rid of Marvin Lewis for once. Next up after the Bengals, 21, the Titans move them up 3 spots. Regardless of how the Packers been playing this year, you beat the Packers, a consistent playoff team. You should be happy about that, Titans. I move you to 21. Bills stay at 22. They had a bye week, so I kept them there. 23, the Chargers. They lost. They shouldn't have lost this week, but they did. So I had to move them down 3 spots. Chargers are 4-6. I don't think they're doing as well as everybody expected them to at this point. For sure not me. Next up, the Buccaneers. Congratulations, you guys won against the Bears. People were counting them out, which I was kind of surprised. The Buccaneers are still a decent team. So I wasn't shocked that they won here. I moved them up 3 spots. I also moved the Rams up 3 spots. Not playing that great, but a win's a win. And more importantly, Jared Goff is going to be starting. Don't know why they chose to start him now, but he's starting. Guess it's time to see what he's going to be like. And frankly, a #1 overall draft pick, it took him this long to start. That's ridiculous to me. Next, the Saints move him down 3 spots. Oh, what a finish. I did not watch that game live. But a sad finish if you're a Saints fan. But a loss is a loss. You move down. Saints have been playing well. They needed that win to really be a playoff contender. That hurts. Any playoff hopes they have, I don't want to kill them with 1 game, but they have a long road if they want to make the playoffs. Let's put it that way. Especially the way the NFC East has been going. Next, the Panthers. A loss. They should have won this game. Granted, it was the Chiefs, and they've been playing really well this year. But the Panthers, I think, are still a decent team. They needed to win that game. Lucky the Falcons lost this week. I don't think they're out for the division yet, but you can't lose games with the way you started. You need to win them. And I don't want to hit the panic button yet on the Panthers. I think they still have a chance, but this is a win they needed, and they didn't get it. Next, the Jets, they also moved down 2 slots to 28. They lost to the Rams. Their season is done. I mean, it's been done, but every loss just confirms it more and more. What a poor team. They're just a bad team. And then we have the Bears at 29, the Jaguars at 30, the 49ers at 31, and the Browns at 32, all staying in the same spot. They all lost this week. Again. At this point, it's just a battle of who gets the #1 overall pick, and it looks like the Browns have that locked up. Wow, they've been playing poor. I think only one of these teams doesn't have a need at quarterback, so that really tells you what's wrong with these teams. And that's the Jaguars, and I think the Jaguars can give Bortles one more season to really prove himself. I'm a huge Bortles fan, so I've been disappointed that he hasn't been doing as well as we expected this season. But regardless, these 4 franchises have not been doing well this year. Definitely will be contending for the #1 overall pick. And for the Browns' sake, they have to win a game soon, right? They're not going to go 0-16. I don't think so, at least. But anyway, those are my power rankings. Like always, I'd love to hear your guys's, so please leave them in the comments below. If you're new to me, my name's Anthony. I have my own channel where I make NFL videos. That link's in the description. It's called Anthony James TV, so check that out. And also follow me on Twitter at Anthony James TV for all my NFL tweets. That also is in the description. I hope you enjoyed this video. I can't wait to hear what you guys have to say about this week's rankings. And until next week with my power rankings, this is Anthony. I'm out. Thank you for watching.
Behind closed doors, I'm a fool for your love.